Hi everyone, Happy New Year. This is the first brew of 2025 and it's our best bitter Headless Horseman. This is the second time we've brewed it and it went down really well, so we thought we'd rebrew it just to be a bit more of a Moorish beer in these horrible wet January months, winter months, whatever. We're towards the end of the day now. As you can see, we're on the boil here. Hops have gone in, bittering hops have gone in, Old Fuggles and UK Cascade, and then there's a nominal addition as a hop stand, which is going to give us a little bit of aroma from the UK Cascade. To flip the camera, here's the brewery, looking a bit unkept at the moment. As you can see, some of our casks from a previous batch. That's the last cask of the Dark Mild Sour on there, and the rest of it is Wastelander, our West Coast Pale Ale, and they've gone down really well. And as we go down the brewery, we've sanitised the fermenter, our open top. The next job, whilst this beer is fermenting, is to get the unitank plumbed in, because the next beer we're going to be brewing in 2 weeks' time is our first keg beer, an American Pale Ale, and after that it's going to be a New England IPA. That's the plan. Under the scales and all this tap, we've got some lovely T90 hops, and that's going to be going into our modern styles as a dry hop in here. But yeah, we need to get this plumbed in before we can do that. Ready to be racked. It's the first brew of 2025 until we get the unitank all hooked up. You'll see in the doorway I've got casks there that have been drained of caustic, so I'm just going to get them rinsed and then we'll get them filled. If you're rinsing by hand, usually I do sort of like for about 10 seconds I'll do a sort of rotation of the cask, and that way the jet wash is hitting every single crevice in there. You drain it, and then after that you do it another couple of times. I used to test with these testing strips, which basically if you rubbed it and it went purple, you've got alkaline on it still, it's still got caustic. The brewers out there, you'll know what caustic feels like and what water feels like. I know that's not the surefire test for it, but it's a good indicator. If you've got experience, you know when it's had a thorough rinse. So 3 revolutions of that, rinse it, and then we fill up a couple of these with 1% peracetic acid. We basically pour about 4 litres into each cask, give it a good shake up, let it sit in there, so that's ready and sterilised to be racked. I have another bucket here that we fill to the brim, so the racking gun sits in that in between fills. What do you reckon of our handmade or hand-banded Portcullis Brewing Company casks? These are casks that we bought from a chap over in Gosport called Clive. He brews in Gosport's smallest, and I think he's the Gosport's oldest brewer as well. And Oakleaf Brewery was what Four Acorn formerly was, and he had a few surplus casks that he bought from them, and he sold them on to us. The keystone at the top, if that's pointing to the north, the shive hole is always directly underneath that. So if you hold it with that in mind, you always get a direct drain like that. And that, ladies and gents, is the system. So now we just want to go through and do the remaining 6 casks, and then we can get to racking. That's all the casks rinsed now. That's taken just a tiny bit, but we move on. Time to get these sanitised, and then we'll get the racking arm and the racking hose sanitised. So 1% in 20 litres, quick maps, 200 mils. Should be wearing gloves, but I trust myself. Watch me pour them over my hand now. There you go. 200 mils. Gives us 1% of 5% peracetic acid. Does the trick as our sanitizer. You can go 0.5% if you're doing long soaks, but 1% seems pretty effective. At some point I do need to get hold of some isopropyl alcohol. It's not needed, but it's a sort of double safety measure against bacteria. Tend to give it a spray of alcohol after you've sprayed it with the paracetic. I've even seen some brewers, especially in America, after they've done the acid and the isopropyl, they'll get a Zippo out and they'll sort of burn it as well. It always seems a bit overkill to me, but I mean, it looks cool, I guess. Once you're racking and you've sort of essentially drained and pushed out all this paracetic, you've got a level of protection with obviously being beer on the line. So as long as you keep your end of your racking arm submerged in prussic acid, it's protected from bacteria. But because obviously beer has hops in it, which antiseptic, not to mention a lot of bacteria don't like alcohol. They can't stand it. Right, give this a soak. More paracetic. Right. Get a generous spray of paracetic. Side glass is important so we can see when beer's coming out. Well, so we can see when clear beer's coming out, because we don't want to put the first run into the first couple of litres or so, which is full of yeast and whatever's congregated down there. That's good to me. A bit more. That's fine. Ooh. Smells very best bittery. Like sort of raisin, sort of biscuit. Never get tired of that smell. You might be wondering why we do this all manually. And the simple answer is we don't have a cask and keg cleaner solution yet, but we plan on building one. So yeah, this will be a little bit more pain-free in the future, but at the moment this system's worked for us so far. It's a bit labour intensive, but there we go. As a small business, we've only sort of started generating profit. You have to buy ingredients, you have to buy consumables, kit that we need. So eventually we'll get there. Filled with 4 litres of paracetic. Let's give it a shake. This is Super F. It is a vegan friendly fining, and it's served as well so far. All of our beers have been nice and bright. Alright, that's been drained. There she goes. Already opened this side, so we'll just go for it. Let's just fill it up. So a quick look how to get it on. Trust the head torch. About half filled now. Might be get another. I should be getting there now, and we've sunnied 2 casks whilst we've been filling this one. You knock your shive in when you see beer, not foam, because at Portcullis Brewing Company we don't believe in shortchanging our customers. No shade, but if you're paying for 9 gallons or 40 litres, then you expect to have that when you pay for it. Nice and tight. And then rinse and repeat.